Florida's real estate collapse is no longer a prediction. It's a full-blown disaster playing out in real time. Behind the palm trees and beach-perfect Instagram posts, families earning six-figure incomes are being crushed by a financial storm they never saw coming. Teachers making $75,000 are being swallowed by $11,000 insurance premiums while their home values crumble beneath them. Condo prices have fallen 9.9% in 12 months, the sharpest statewide drop since 2009, while insurance costs have surged more than 60% since 2019. In places like Cape Coral, homeowners now owe more than their houses are worth. For sale signs fade under the Florida sun as equity evaporates week after week. And here's the nightmare most people don't see. This isn't just Florida's crisis. It's the first domino, a warning signal for housing markets across America facing the same pressure points. Let's begin with our 10th city facing absolute devastation. Number 10, Winter Haven. Picture suburban streets lined with mid-century ranch homes where retirees once found their slice of paradise. Now, for sale signs multiply like dandelions after rain while buyers stay home. Winter Haven looked like the perfect compromise, close enough to Orlando's job market, but affordable enough for middle-class families to actually build wealth. Here's the brutal math behind this quiet suburban nightmare. Prices dropped 1.2% in just 3 months from October 2024 to January 2025, part of a devastating 0.9% annual decline that's accelerating. CoreLogic flagged Winter Haven with very high risk, over 70% probability of continued price crashes throughout 2025. For a family who bought their $280,000 home in 2022, they're watching $25,000 in equity evaporate, while insurance costs soar past $5,000 annually. The real devastation? Winter Haven sits trapped between two collapsing markets, Orlando's struggling tech sector and Tampa's insurance crisis, creating a perfect storm of economic pressure. Families earning $65,000 discover that affordable housing just became expensive poverty when you factor in rising property taxes, skyrocketing insurance, and plummeting values. Local teachers and nurses who thought they'd found stability now face a choice. Hold on and pray the bleeding stops, or sell at a loss before it gets worse. This is just the beginning of Florida's reckoning. Number 9, Sebastian Vero Beach. Once upon a time, Vero Beach represented Florida's promise, pristine Atlantic coastline, where barrier islands met old Florida charm, where families built generational wealth in communities small enough to know your neighbors' names. Developers sold the dream. Invest in coastal paradise. Watch your wealth multiply. That dream just shattered into expensive fragments. Sebastian Vero Beach home values collapsed 4.6% year over year, according to HouseCanary's Q3 2025 data, transforming equity into evaporating mist. The median home that commanded $387,000 in 2024 now struggles to fetch $370,000. $17,000 in wealth simply vanished while families kept making those mortgage payments. Here's where the crisis deepens. Coastal insurance premiums exploded to $8,000 to $9,000 annually for properties in flood zones, effectively adding another $750 monthly to ownership costs. A nurse earning $68,000 discovers that her $1,800 mortgage plus $750 insurance plus $400 property taxes equals $2,950 monthly. That's 52% of her gross income before utilities, food, or gasoline. The human toll, properties sitting 85+ days on market while motivated sellers slash prices repeatedly, watching their life savings drain away with each price reduction. Retirees who relocated from expensive northern markets discover they're trapped, can't afford to stay with skyrocketing costs, can't sell without massive losses, can't move back north where prices climbed even higher during their absence. The barrier islands that promised protection from the mainland's chaos now trap families in financial quicksand, with rising tides threatening more than just their foundations. Number 8, Lakeland. Drive Interstate 4 between Tampa and Orlando, and Lakeland's sprawling subdivisions promise middle-class salvation. Newer construction, reasonable prices, escape from coastal insurance nightmares. That promise is collapsing in real time. Lakeland earned very high risk designation from Norada Real Estate's analysis, with projections showing potential 15% price drops through 2026. That's $45,000 evaporating from a typical $300,000 home while families keep sending those monthly checks. Side by side with Tampa's struggles just 35 miles west, Lakeland looked like the smart alternative, until it wasn't. Here's the devastating reality behind those newer subdivisions. Builders flooded Lakeland with new construction during the pandemic boom, creating supply that now sits rotting. Days on market stretched to 74 statewide. In Lakeland, properties languish even longer as buyers realize affordable Florida doesn't exist anymore. The median family income of $58,000 meets home prices demanding $85,000 plus salaries, creating a mathematical impossibility that crushes dreams faster than summer thunderstorms. The crisis compounds when you examine ownership costs. $280,000 homes requiring $1,650 mortgages at 7% rates, plus $4,200 annual insurance, plus $3,500 property taxes equals $2,650 monthly before HOA fees that average another $200. That's $2,850 total. 60% of gross income for families earning Lakeland's median wage. Police officers and teachers who thought they'd found their entry point into homeownership discover they've entered a trap where rising costs meet falling values. New construction that promised move-in ready perfection becomes move-out urgency when the math stops working. The I-4 corridor that symbolized Central Florida opportunity now represents a corridor of financial devastation stretching from coast to coast. And the worst part, this is still just warming up. Number 7, West Palm Beach. Palm Beach County represents Florida's schizophrenic market in microcosm. Billionaire estates in Palm Beach proper command $30 million, while just miles away in West Palm Beach, middle-class homeowners watch their equity disintegrate. CoreLogic's January 2025 data flagged West Palm as very high risk, with 70% plus probability of continued price crashes. The pattern visualization tells a devastating story. Condo values in Palm Beach County crashed 11.4% year over year, according to Reventure Consulting's November 2025 analysis. That's a $34,000 loss on a typical $300,000 condo, while monthly costs keep climbing. Property insurance premiums in Palm Beach County average $6,614 annually, second highest in Florida, adding $551 monthly to ownership costs that already stretch budgets to breaking. Here's where predictive data becomes terrifying. West Palm Beach sits at the convergence of every crisis factor demolishing Florida housing. Condo special assessments following 2021's Surfside collapse legislation force owners to pay $15,000 to $40,000 for building repairs while values plummet. HOA fees jumped 30 to 50% across Palm Beach condos as reserve requirements and insurance costs explode. Migration patterns reversed. Wealthy Northeasterners who fueled the boom now stay home as work-from-home flexibility disappears and recession fears mount. A paralegal earning $62,000 faces mathematical devastation. Her $270,000 condo demands $1,850 mortgage plus $551 insurance plus $350 property tax plus $450 HOA equals $3,201 monthly, 62% of gross income. Then comes the special assessment notice, $28,000 due within 18 months for structural repairs and reserve funding. The future scenario paints nothing but darkness. As more owners realize they're underwater or equity trapped, panic selling accelerates price drops further. Each foreclosure drags neighboring values down another notch. Each insurance company exit reduces options and raises premiums. The luxury market's collapse starts at the bottom and works up. West Palm Beach homeowners are discovering they're the bottom while watching the tsunami approach. Anticipation builds for what comes next, because if West Palm Beach represents the affordable Palm Beach County option, the crisis has nowhere to go but worse. Number 6, St. Petersburg. Meet Sarah, a 34-year-old physical therapist who bought her 1960s St. Pete bungalow in 2021 for $285,000. Today, Zillow estimates it's worth $265,000, $20,000 gone while she paid down barely $12,000 in principal. Her insurance jumped from $2,100 to $5,400 annually. Property taxes rose 18%. She's trapped, bleeding money monthly with no exit strategy that doesn't end in financial ruin. Sarah's story story repeats across St. Petersburg's mid-century neighborhoods where Catality identified very high risk of continued price declines. Single-family home prices already fell year over year while Tampa Bay inventory exploded 28.8% higher, flooding the market with desperate sellers competing for vanishing buyers. The community impact visualization reveals systemic breakdown. St. Petersburg attracted young professionals and families during the pandemic with promises of beachside living and reasonable prices. Those professionals now face $4,500 to $6,000 annual insurance premiums on homes worth less than purchase price. Many bought at peak 2021 to 2022 prices using conventional mortgages. They're now technically underwater when factoring in selling costs, unable to move for better job opportunities without bringing $20,000 to $40,000 to closing. Here's the emotional stakes maximum. A teacher couple earning combined $95,000 bought their $320,000 home in 2022. Today, it's worth $298,000. Their mortgage payment is $2,250, insurance $467 monthly, property taxes $350. That's $3,067 before utilities, food, or gas. They have a toddler in daycare costing $1,200 monthly. After taxes, they net $5,900 monthly. Do that math. $3,067 housing plus $1,200 childcare equals $4,267, leaving $1,633 for everything else. One unexpected expense, car repair, medical bill, job loss, and they're choosing between keeping the house or eating. This isn't poverty in the traditional sense. This is middle-class professional families with advanced degrees discovering home ownership became a financial death trap when the Florida boom turned bust. And St. Pete's crisis? It's nowhere near as bad as what's coming. Number 5, North Port Sarasota. From bird's eye view, North Port Sarasota's story mirrors 2008 with haunting precision, explosive growth followed by devastating correction, except this time, the math is worse. Home prices in North Port crashed 7.49% year over year, according to Go Banking Rate's May 2025 analysis, while Sarasota condos plummeted 12.2% according to Reventure data. Wealth destruction happening so fast you can watch it in monthly statistics. The historical parallel becomes undeniable when you layer timelines. Pre-2008, North Port represented Southwest Florida's affordable growth market, where investors flipped houses and families stretched budgets, believing appreciation would justify the risk. The 2008 crash devastated the area. Prices fell 50% plus, while foreclosures multiplied. Recovery took until 2015 to 2016. Now the sequel plays out with worse fundamentals. 2019 to 2022 saw median prices jump 51% across Florida, with North Port Sarasota leading the surge. Buyers paid $380,000 to $420,000 for homes that commanded $240,000 in 2019. That appreciation just reversed. Homes now worth $350,000 to $385,000 while ownership costs exploded. Insurance that cost $2,000 in 2019 now demands $6,000 to $8,000. Property taxes rose 40%. HOA fees jumped 30%. The specific imagery for trend descriptions shows failure at every level. North Port inventory exceeds 9 months supply for condos. Anything over 6 months indicates buyer's market. 9+ signals crisis. Properties sit 90 to 120 days on market, while sellers cut prices repeatedly. Redfin reports Florida leads the nation in purchase cancellations. Buyers backing out when reality hits during inspection periods. Here's the regional character distinction that matters. Sarasota represented Gulf Coast sophistication. North Port offered working-class access to that lifestyle. Both are collapsing, but North Port families, nurses, teachers, tradespeople, have no safety net. A plumber earning $62,000 watches his $340,000 house value drop to $315,000, underwater after closing costs. Trapped in a home that costs $3,100 monthly between mortgage, insurance, and taxes. The visual success failure examples are everywhere. For sale signs line North Port subdivisions, where families once barbecued together and kids rode bikes through cul-de-sacs. Now those signs sit weathered for months, silent monuments to dreams that died in Florida sunshine. Number 4, Tampa. When CoreLogic's chief economist warns that compressed monthly changes highlight general lack of home buying demand, she's describing Tampa's freefall in clinical language. Let me translate with brutal honesty. Tampa is witnessing demand collapse so severe that it shows up in national economic data as a warning signal for the entire housing market. The numbers confirm the nightmare. Tampa home prices fell 0.9% year over year in January 2025, but that monthly compression CoreLogic references, prices dropping 1.6% in just 3 months from October to January. That's acceleration toward terminal velocity. Tampa condos crashed 12.3% according to November 2025 data, representing $37,000 in lost equity on a typical $300,000 unit. ATTOM's Q3 2025 foreclosure data reveals Tampa's hidden crisis. Foreclosure rates are among highest in major metros, up significantly year over year as homeowners who stretched to buy in 2021 to 2022 discover they can't afford carrying costs when prices reverse. Local attorney Karen Borelli cautioned against panic in interviews. But here's reality. When foreclosures accelerate, each one damages neighboring property values, creating downward spiral that feeds itself. The regional context verification shows explosion of new construction now rotting as inventory. Developers who built during the boom find themselves slashing prices to move units. New townhomes that would have commanded $420,000 in 2022 now offered at $365,000, with builder paying closing costs and buying down interest rates to 4.7% because they're desperate. That desperation, it tells you everything about Tampa's future. For families caught in this, the visual evidence is everywhere. Entire new subdivisions in East Tampa sit partially empty, models open but no buyers touring. Existing home neighborhoods see multiple for sale signs per block. Neighbors competing against neighbors, prices falling weekly. A police officer earning $58,000 bought his $295,000 home in 2022, now worth $275,000, costing $2,850 monthly between mortgage $1,950, insurance $485, and taxes $415. He's trapped, can't sell without loss, can't refinance because he's near break-even on loan-to-value, can't reduce costs because insurance only goes up in Florida. The destruction accelerates daily while Tampa's leaders remain silent. Number 3, Cape Coral. The Wall Street Journal doesn't throw around superlatives lightly. When they crowned Cape Coral America's worst housing market in June 2025, they documented something unprecedented. 8% of homeowners underwater on mortgages, highest percentage in the entire United States, with prices declining 12 of the past 13 months in devastating sequence. Here's what that looks like at street level. Maria, a 42-year-old medical assistant, bought her 2,100 square foot canal front home in 2021 for $385,000, stretched her $71,000 salary to the absolute limit, believing canal access would maintain value. Today, Zillow estimates her home at $325,000. She's $60,000 underwater. Her insurance jumped from $3,200 to $7,700 annually. That's $642 monthly, up from $267. Her mortgage is $2,400. Property taxes hit $425 monthly. Total, $3,467 before utilities, food, or gas. She nets $4,200 monthly after taxes and health insurance. Cape Coral represents ground zero for every crisis demolishing Florida. Prices crashed 14.2% for condos, 8.19% for single-family homes year over year. The typical home that commanded $419,000 at pandemic peak now struggles to get $350,000. Inventory exceeds 9 months for condos, pure buyer's market that keeps getting worse. Insurance premiums rank third highest premium to market ratio nationally at 2.2%. Meaning a $350,000 home costs $7,700 annually just for insurance. The foreclosure data confirms the disaster. Cape Coral leads major metros in foreclosure rates, according to ATTOM's Q3 2025 report, when 8% of homeowners owe more than their homes are worth. Each foreclosure adds to that inventory, dragging prices down further. This isn't correction. This is collapse in slow motion. Homeowners discover the canal access that promised value now promises flood insurance nightmares, hurricane evacuation orders, and insurers fleeing the market entirely. The dream of waterfront living becomes the reality of financial drowning. And somehow it gets worse from here. Number 2, Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda earned a distinction no city wants. Largest home value decrease in America based on year-over-year percentage, down 10.05% according to Go Banking Rate's May 2025 analysis. That's not correction, that's not normalization, that's wealth destruction happening faster than families can process the implications. The 2-year data reveals something even more terrifying. Punta Gorda shed more than 12% of home value between May 2023 and May 2025. Over $50,000 evaporated from typical homes, while owners kept making payments, kept paying climbing insurance, kept watching their equity vanish. Condos crashed even harder, 18.6% year over year, according to Reventure data, representing $56,000 in lost value on a $300,000 unit. Here's the comprehensive breakdown by market segment. Retirees who relocated from expensive northeastern markets thinking they'd found affordable paradise now face catastrophic losses. A retired couple who sold their New Jersey home for $480,000 and bought Punta Gorda waterfront for $365,000 in 2021 now owns property worth $290,000. They paid cash, no mortgage. But their insurance jumped from $2,400 to $8,100 annually. Their fixed $3,800 monthly Social Security income covered everything comfortably in 2021. Now insurance costs $675 monthly, property taxes $380, HOA $285, that's $1,340 in monthly housing costs, plus utilities, food, healthcare. Their safety margin disappeared while their home value crashed. The multiple indicator tracking shows systemic failure. Properties sitting 95+ days on market, with price cuts averaging 8 to 12% from original listings. Nearly 60 homes delisted for every 100 new listings, according to Realtor.com's August 2025 data. That means massive seller capitulation, people giving up rather than accepting market reality. New construction sits empty as builders who overbuilt during boom-faced bankruptcy or fire sale pricing. The Charlotte County impact reverberates beyond Punta Gorda. Port Charlotte, Englewood, neighboring communities all experiencing similar devastation as the entire market collapses together, each city's failure amplifying the others in cascading regional disaster. Number 1. Statewide Florida. This isn't about individual cities anymore. This is about an entire state, 4th most populous in America, economic engine that added 25 million residents and counting, experiencing housing market failure so comprehensive it threatens to trigger national economic consequences. Here's the ultimate crisis summation. Florida condos crashed 9.9% statewide in 12 months. Largest decline since 2009's housing crisis, according to Newsweek's November 2025 analysis. That's not one city or region. That's systemic collapse affecting 1/5 of all American condos, with Florida holding exactly that proportion of national condo inventory. Single-family homes fell 2.7% statewide year over year, with median prices at $415,000 after peaking above $425,000. The emotional peak with visual evidence shows 92% of tracked Florida metro areas seeing condo price declines, while 2/3 of single-family markets post negative annual growth. Let that sink in. Nearly every market in Florida, from Pensacola to Key West, from Jacksonville to Naples, is experiencing price corrections simultaneously. The data compilation that cannot be denied: insurance costs jumped 60% since 2019, with average annual premiums hitting $5,700 statewide, ranging from $2,064 in inland Sumter County to $9,058 in coastal Monroe County. Property insurance could hit $15,460 annually by late 2025. According to projections, that's $1,288 monthly just for insurance. Migration reversed. The population boom that drove prices up now reversed as outflow exceeds inflow for first time since pandemic. Inventory exploded 28.8% higher year over year, while closed sales crashed 5.7% for single family, 19.9% for condos. The human cost compounds daily. 15 to 20% of Florida homeowners now lack insurance entirely because they can't afford premiums, creating shadow risk where uninsured properties threaten banks, HOAs, and neighboring property values. Citizens Property Insurance, state backstop insurer, holds 772,000 policies as of September 2025, exposing taxpayers to catastrophic risk if major hurricane hits. The nightmare scenario isn't coming, it's here. Florida families face choosing between keeping homes they can't afford or selling at devastating losses they can't absorb. The middle class that Florida promised to protect is being systematically destroyed by policies that prioritize developer profits over family stability, insurance company solvency over homeowner security, tourist dollars over resident welfare. In conclusion, Florida's housing market isn't softly landing. It's crashing in real time while officials downplay the devastation as market normalization and healthy correction. Here's what you need to understand. These aren't abstract statistics. These are middle-class families, teachers, nurses, police officers, skilled tradespeople, watching their largest investment, their family security, their retirement nest egg, evaporate while carrying costs explode. These are essential workers who followed America's promise that homeownership builds wealth, discovering that promise was a lie told by politicians and developers who profited from the boom and will never share the consequences of the bust. The mathematical reality is undeniable. When housing costs consume 50 to 60% of household income before utilities or food, when insurance premiums rise faster than home values fall, when foreclosures accelerate and inventory keeps building, when migration reverses and major employers question Florida's long-term viability, that's not correction, that's crisis. What happens next depends entirely on factors outside Florida homeowners' control. Will insurance companies return or continue fleeing? Will interest rates drop enough to restart demand? Will another hurricane devastate the Gulf Coast and trigger insurance market complete collapse? Will the national economy avoid recession or slide into downturn that makes Florida's situation catastrophic? For families trapped in Florida homes, they can't sell without massive losses and can't afford to keep as costs skyrocket. There are no good options, only degrees of pain. If you found this investigation valuable, hit that subscribe button and tap